I have something to confess. I think that I've fallen victim to the filet crochet craze, so now I need a filet crochet top. Let's not count how many times I say filet crochet throughout this video because it will be a lot of times. I don't know if you're familiar with this technique, but it's basically a crochet style where you're creating designs out of filled and empty boxes. It's very similar to pixel art, but you're doing it with a crochet hook and some thread. Now, when it comes to the actual project that I want to make, I knew from the start that I wanted to make a top, but the amount of inspiration that's out there was super overwhelming, so I was having a really hard time deciding what I wanted to make. And before deciding what I wanted to make, I wanted to visualize what the fabric would look like. So I tried out a lot of different thread thicknesses and hook sizes so that I can see which match would be the best for me. And I did end up swatching quite a lot, so much so that I didn't post a video last week because I spent all week swatching. I knew that I wanted something with a super small hooks, so whatever I'm going to make, it's going to take quite a while, at least from my experience from the swatch process. I'm on my period, and I also think that I'm getting sick. But even though I don't feel the best, I'm actually trying to learn a new skill. I think that I consider myself a beginner at crochet. I might have accomplished a couple of projects. I know that I have done a bag that I actually really like and I use it a lot in the summer. I'll try to insert a clip here so that you can see what it looks like. My goal would be to actually make a top, but I know that's something that's kind of daunting to start with. So I just found these shards for... This is like a doily. I think that's what it's called. We call them napronche in Portugal. If you're in Portugal and you go through a grandmother's house, it's very likely that you're going to find these. But I found these charts that I'm following. This is just a ruler so that I know in which row I am. And this is where I am so far. I don't love this color, I'm just using up materials that I already had. And this is where I'm at so far. The thing with this is that it's very hard to see against something that isn't a dark background or a light one in case you're using a darker yarn. But this is where I am so far. I just have this little heart at the bottom and I'm starting to do the tails for the bows. I'm trying it out more so to see which thickness of yarn and which needle size I would like to work with. I'm currently using a 1.75 hook and I don't know much about this type of cotton yarn. I don't even think that this is called yarn, I think this is called the thread. But yeah, I don't know much about this cotton thread. I'm using size 12, but I don't know if this is standard sizing or not. This is super thin. Before this one, I was trying out using a 2mm hook and using this one that's a thicker one. I don't know what's the number on this one because I don't have the label anymore. And as my actual top, I do think that I want to use a cream yarn or either a cream yarn or a black one. I don't know if I want to try out colors for this. I like how the filled squares look on this one much better than on the other one. I think that it's just a little bit easier to read from afar. So I'm not sure what I'll end up using. I'm going to finish this one. I don't know how long it will take, but I'm going to try to finish it so that I can get a full view at what it would actually look like to figure out which needle size and which yarn thickness I'd like to use. Let's do a couple of more rows so that we can start seeing the bow coming together. I zoned out for the last couple of hours and this is what I have. I really like how this fabric turns out, so I think that for my top I will go with something like this instead of the thicker one that I showed you. Back from the shop and I got my materials. I bought two different colors of thread and I bought thread number 12. It's basically a lace weight thread. And over the last couple of days I've been trying different combinations of threads and crochet hook sizes, and let's see if I can show you. I was trying to see if I wanted to go for a thinner yarn and what needle size would work with it, or if I wanted to go with something a little bit thicker. This is what I have so far. Actually, here it looks like you can read it super well, but I don't love how this turned out in real life. And this one is way too thick, and you can see that there's a difference in size of the squares. So I think that having open squares makes the drawing much more legible. Basically, the difference is that on this one there's just one chain between each square, and on this one there's two chains, so it's much easier to read. And I did all of these 3 swatches. I did different ones, but I unraveled once I figured out that I didn't like them. So I did all of these 3 swatches with a 1.25mm hook. And what I think that I'll end up doing is going with a 1mm hook. And as I've shown you, I have 12 thread. Now, I didn't have a 1mm crochet hook, so I had to buy a pack. That means that now I have multiples of some of them, but they didn't have the 1mm hook alone, so yeah, I had to buy the pack. I also bought some more stitch markers that I was needing, and I've been keeping my stitch markers inside of a mint case, but I bought this pill case so that I can keep different stitch markers, and I think that I can even roll a stitch holder and place it here. I don't know if there's enough space between the bottom and these little things so that I can put a needle underneath, but we'll see how that will work out. Thought it was super neat to keep all of my stitch markers. Now, before I start working on a top, I want to make a little doily, I think you can call it that, so that I can not only have a swatch so that I can draft my pattern from, but I also want to get more familiar with the techniques, like different borders and stuff like that. So I went on Stitch Fiddle and drew out these. This will be like a runner for my dinner table. This is a Portuguese meme. It says "O mundo é boas cenas." We had a show that was basically a fake reality show like Big Brother. It was like an imitation of Big Brother, but it has all of the cliches and stuff like that. And basically one of the characters was trying to be really profound and having a very philosophical viewpoint on the world, but basically he was just saying that the world is just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, it's always hard to explain memes from other countries because obviously they have some sort of cultural relevance to that country and it's hard to explain. But basically I'm going to make a doily with a meme. I'm going to start on the side because it's much easier than chaining all of the stitches for the length. I just downloaded a file from Stitch Fiddle. It has the row and stitch count, so basically each square will be 4 chains. But if you know anything about this type of crochet, the center chain that's in between each square will be also one of the chains from the next square. So to figure out the total number of chains, you have to multiply it by 3 and add 1 to that number. Does that make sense? So you're going to count 3, 6, 9, 12, and then you have to add 1, which will be the last chain from the last square. Hope that made sense, but obviously if you want to try this out, there's a lot of tutorials out there. So I'm just going to get my 1mm crochet hook so that I can start chaining. I'm going to chain all of my stitches, which will be, let's see, I have 24 squares, so 24 times 3 plus 1 will be 73 chains. And the way that I like to keep track of my chains is I chain 10 and I add 10 to my calculator, and then I keep adding until I reach the total number of chains. So I have my 73 chains, and the first row will be all done in double crochets. So I'm just going to continue working on these, and as soon as I have something that you can actually see, I'll show you. I've been at these for around 3.5 hours. My cats have the zoomies right now, but I'm not sure when I started, but I think it was around 1 p.m. and it's currently 4 p.m. My god, they're going crazy. But this is as far as I got. The farther apart it is, the better you can see it, because obviously this works like pixels. I'm still not sure how it will work out when it comes to being a garment, but oh! It looks good against the body. I don't know, I think that I'm looking at it so close that I can't see the actual design coming together, but I think I just have to trust the process, and once I see this as a finished piece of fabric, I can start thinking about the actual top. These ended up being my final swatch, and I swatched with the filet crochet at the top and I did some knitting at the bottom because I wanted to see if I would prefer to have a top that's fully crochet or if I would want to mix knitting with crochet. Where I'm at now, I want to mix both because the design that I'm going to show you on a mannequin what I'm going for because I've already started at the front. I've just done a little bit of work. It's not that much. It was just for me to figure out if I actually wanted to go ahead with this top or not. And so far I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead with it, but I also really want to make something long sleeved, but I'm not sure. I think that I'll leave that for another design. So I'm going to show you what's the idea that I have right now. Maybe explaining it to you will make me see if I want to actually make it or not. I don't know. So my idea right now is that I'm going to make a tank top, and I thought that maybe to make it easier to wear, I'd do the top part in filet crochet and the bottom part in knitting. I'm still going to crochet a little section here that's going to create a curve along the bust line, and I was thinking that I was going to knit the bottom part so that it would have more coverage in the bust area. Right now I just have to knit 2 more rows and then I'm going to start shaping for the neckline. I don't know if I told you, but you saw that I went out and bought some cotton thread, but I ended up going with a different type of thread. I found this linen thread in the same thickness, so it's number 12, but this one's linen, and I wish that you could feel the difference because this linen thread is much softer than the cotton ones. So the fabric ended up being a little bit more drapey than my cotton samples. And now I'm just going to continue working on the front so that I can do the neckline and put it against my body to see if I actually like it or not, or if I'm just going to unravel and go for a different design completely. But hopefully I'll like it. I've just finished the front neckline and now I need to do this part where there will be more fabric here that goes down, and this is the part that will make these meet the side seam. Let me show you on the chart. Right now my work starts here, so I have to do this bottom section. Okay, so as you saw, I finished the top part and I just did a little swatch in the smallest tension that my knitting machine can achieve, and I think the fabric will be way too see-through. My idea is that the filet crochet part stops at my upper bust and then there would be knit fabric in the bottom portion. But the thing is, I don't think that it will have enough coverage, and I was looking at a different yarn that I have already swatched before that maybe could match, but I don't know if I'm enjoying this design. The thing that I'm liking the most about this is the actual fabric, so maybe I should go for something else, even though I've already had all of this work. But yeah, I think that I'm going to think a little bit more about it. At least I've already figured out how the neckline shaping will be done, because I think this one is fitting really well. So I don't know, I think that I really have to look through some inspo to see what actually catches my eye, but the fabric is really pretty. I wasn't seeing the vision coming into fruition as I wanted, so I ended up giving up on this one, but I didn't unravel it because maybe I'll continue working on this. I do like how the fabric turned out, and I think that it would be a pretty top, but my thing was that I don't think the bottom part in knitting would have enough coverage for me to wear this without a bra. So the design that I'm working on right now is just a crew neck vest, and it will have a button band along the way. I've already created a chart on Stitch Fiddle, so I'm going to show you. This is what I'm working with, and I've just started the bottom section, so I'm just going to show you so that you can see. So this is the neckline, that's the armhole shaping, and hopefully it will fit. The thing with this project is that it takes a long time for me to understand if it's actually working out or not. But this is the width of the front, and I'm thinking that it will fit. I don't want something really oversized. I want it to have some extra ease so that I can wear it with a white t-shirt underneath or just with a bikini top, depending on where I'm going. But I think the width is good. Hopefully it will work out, but this is what I have so far. You can see that there's already a flower here and another one is starting here, so I'm just continue to work on this and we'll discover together if this will work out or not. Hopefully it will. So it's currently 11 AM and we'll see how much I can get done before lunch. I'm kind of annoyed because it's not really practical to pull the yarn from this because it just keeps rolling on the top of the table. So I think that I'm going to use these. I have no idea what this is called. It's like a thread dispenser. Can I remove this part? I would like to keep it smaller so that I can just place the thread on here, so that I can just pull and it will roll, but I don't want this huge part. This doesn't come off. No, it does. Okay. I think that it will be much easier just pulling the yarn from here. I'm going to place a stitch marker on the row that I was at when I first started filming this. So I was on the 6th row and I'm currently on the 9th, so I just have to place a stitch marker 3 rows down. Okay everyone, it's been an hour since I've started working on this and this is how far I got. Oops, let me see if I don't unravel anything. This is where I'm at. This is where I started, so I just did 7 rows in an hour. Let me see how long it would take. Imagining that all of the rows are the same width, which isn't the case at the top where I start working on the neckline, but it takes me 10 minutes each row, and the total amount of rows is 110, so it will take me 18 hours and 20 minutes to finish the front. To finish one of the front sides. Okay, I think I didn't need to make those calculations because now I'm more scared than motivated, but anyway, I'm going to make my lunch and then we can get back to working on this. It was just in time. I've just finished the row. I guess my calculations are right. It does take me 10 minutes to accomplish a row, so I'm just going to turn off the rice and wait for the chicken to be done so that I can have lunch. And actually I was thinking that I need to do my nails. I've done these like a month ago and I've already screwed up 2 nails. I really need to fix this, so maybe I'll do my nails today as well and then spend the rest of the day working on this filet crochet project. Okay, it's been over 2 hours and I've just finished my nails. This is what they look like. I usually use nail stickers, but this time I did some small flowers with a dotting tool. So yeah, now that I've had lunch, did my nails, it's currently 4 p.m. so I don't know how much more I'm going to work on these. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I still haven't talked with you today and I just realized that my battery is nearly ending, but this is how far I've gotten. I've put on a stitch marker where I started today. This was the progress from yesterday, so this is the progress right now. It's currently 3 p.m. I think that I'm going to get to the armhole shaping, but I just wanted to check if I think this will actually fit. And I think it will, so we can proceed. I'm not going to unravel this one, thank God, because I don't think that I could handle it and I'd probably just give up on this project. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. I really love the fabric. So yeah, we can just keep going and hopefully this will become a little vest that I'll enjoy wearing. Okay, it's the next day and I've just been crocheting away. I've reached the point where I've started doing the armhole curve, but I don't think that it's looking as I want it to look. Let me see if I can show you. Basically, it seems to me that the work should end around here and that there should be a curve here. Otherwise, if we just go up from here, there won't be any space to do the armhole finish. Like, it will be way too much at the edge, so it will come out of the shoulder, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking that I'm going to unravel until about here and I'm going to decrease around 3 squares so that I can continue working up until I get to the shoulder. Hope that makes sense, but basically I have to unravel and change the chart. Well, I finally finished the right front piece and now we're ready to start working on the left one. But that's going to be something for the next video because this one is already pretty long. I didn't expect my swatch process to take as much time as it took, but I'm glad that I tried out all of the options and that I arrived at a fabric that I really like, so I'm really excited to see this vest finished. And I'm especially excited to get to the armhole and neckline finishes, which I'm planning to do in knitting, so hopefully that will work out. Now I've gotten to a point where I need to make a decision, and I've already consulted you guys on Instagram, but I'm going to tell you here as well so that you can vote on which option do you prefer. But basically for the left front, I want to know if you'd prefer that the left front has the flowers following the same line, or if you'd like to see it mirrored, which would basically create a V. I'm going to put up 2 sketches so that you can look at it and see which one you'd actually prefer, so let me know down below, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye!